You know what's worse than showing up single to your sister's engagement party? Showing up single, again, while your ex is there, with his new fiancé, and your aunt keeps whispering, "Still no ring?" Like it's a family curse. So no, I wasn't about to let that happen. Not this year. Not again. Which is why I did the most logical thing a petty, overachieving youngest daughter could do. I hired a fake fiancé. His name was Leo. Gorgeous, charming, believable enough to fool even the nosiest relatives. The plan was simple. Fake smiles, fake love, fake ring. A clean, quick performance. But what no one told me is this. When you hire a fake fiancé, make sure he hasn't already dated your sister. Hey dreamers, welcome back to Blessing's Storyverse, where we don't just tell stories, we live them. Today's tale is full of mystery, love twists. So grab your popcorn and let's dive into another chapter. The setup. There are two kinds of people in the world. The ones who crumble under family pressure, and the ones who hire a fake fiancé to prove a point. Guess which one I am? I stared at my reflection in the cafe window, trying to steady my breathing. The engagement party was in 4 days. 4 days, and my RSVP still read. +0, still single. Mind your business. Not this year. Not again. That's when Leo Carter walked in 6 feet of tailored confidence and a smirk that probably left emotional damage all over the city. "You must be the woman bold enough to fake an engagement," he said, sliding into the booth like he owned it. "And you must be the man ridiculous enough to accept the offer." I shot back. He laughed. Easy. Charming. Like none of this was weird. "You're paying me to pretend we're madly in love for one weekend," he said. "You want sweet or spicy?" I blinked. "What?" "The act. Do you want us to look like we sneak off at parties to make out? Or like we're saving ourselves for a joint Pinterest board?" He was insane. I liked him immediately. "Somewhere in between," I said. "Just smile, nod, and pretend I'm the best mistake you ever made." He leaned back, eyes glinting with amusement. "Do I get bonus points if I make your ex jealous?" God help me. "If you can do that without punching anyone, I'll double your tip." He gave a mock salute. "Consider it done, ma'am." The arrival. 4 hours, 2 bathroom stops, and 1 shared Spotify playlist later we arrived. Leo pulled up to my parents' driveway like he belonged in every Hallmark holiday movie ever. That smug grin? Perfect. The sleeves rolled up just enough to flex his forearms? Calculated. The fake engagement ring glinting on my finger? Way too believable. My mother spotted us through the window before we even got out of the car. "She's coming. Look alive," I muttered, tightening my grip on Leo's hand, like we were halfway through a rom-com montage. "Babe," he whispered with a wink. I was born for this. The door flew open, and there she was, my mother, arms already outstretched, voice full of delight and thinly veiled judgment. "Sweetheart, and this must be Leo. Oh, you didn't tell me he was so handsome." I gave a fake laugh so tight it could have cracked my molars. Well, I had to save some surprises. Behind her, the real surprise waited. Ava, my sister, blonde, graceful, and smiling like she hadn't torched every ounce of peace I ever had. And of course, standing next to her, him, Ethan, my ex, his arms slung casually around her waist, like she hadn't stolen. Him from under my nose and smiled through it all. Leo's fingers gave mine a squeeze. I turned to him, grateful. He leaned in and kissed the top of my head, just soft enough to make it look real, and intimate enough to make my spine tingle. "You okay?" he murmured. "Ask me after 3 glasses of wine," I whispered. Then I smiled at Ava, the fakest smile I could muster. "Hi sis, surprise." Her eyes flicked to Leo's hand on my waist. She blinked once. Just once. Good. Let the games begin. The dinner disaster. I knew dinner would be awkward. What I didn't know was that it would feel like a psychological warfare, disguised as family bonding. We were seated around the long mahogany dining table, Leo to my right, Ava across from me, and Ethan 2 seats down, acting like he didn't help ruin my last birthday by dumping me via text. My mom had outdone herself. There were 5 different kinds of potatoes, because everyone likes them differently. And a roast so perfect I almost forgot I was emotionally spiraling. Almost. So, Dad said, carving the meat with dramatic precision. How long have you two been engaged? Here we go. Leo didn't miss a beat. He reached over, laced his fingers with mine, and said, 6 beautiful months. 6.5, I added, giving him a coy smile like we weren't both lying through our teeth. And how did you two meet again? Ava asked, sipping her wine with that little tilt of her head that meant trouble. Leo leaned in like we had rehearsed it. We hadn't. Bookstore. We both grabbed the same copy of The Bell Jar. It was fate. And maybe a little bit of trauma bonding. I blinked. He was good. Oh, my mom gushed. That's so romantic. Ava narrowed her eyes. Fork paused mid-air. That's funny. I don't remember you even liking poetry, Ellie. I gave her my best sweet but will bury you later smile. Well, people change. Especially when they're happy. Ethan coughed into his glass. Leo squeezed my hand again under the table. Ellie's kind of amazing, he said smoothly. Hard not to fall for her. The table fell quiet. Just long enough for me to believe I might survive the night. Then my little cousin blurted out, Are you guys gonna have babies soon? I choked on my water. Leo laughed. Ava looked like she'd bitten into a lemon. Eventually, Leo said, cool as ever. One fake step at a time. I kicked him under the table. He winked. The almost kiss. The house was finally quiet. The wine was gone. The questions had stopped. The passive-aggressive comments were shelved until breakfast. Everyone was asleep. Except me. And Leo. We sat on the back porch under fairy lights Mom probably found on Pinterest, wrapped in a shared blanket and the kind of silence that feels dangerous. Well, he said, nudging my foot, I think I deserve an Oscar. For what? Lying like it's your full-time job? I teased. He grinned. That too, but mostly for not throwing a bread roll at your sister. I laughed, louder than I meant to. The tension finally cracked, just a little. She's always been like that, I said quietly. Perfect hair, perfect braids, perfect boyfriend. You mean your boyfriend? Leo said, voice soft but sharp. I nodded. We were together 2 years. Then one day she shows up with Ethan like it's normal. And everyone just accepted it, like I was the dramatic one. Leo leaned closer, his shoulder brushing mine. You're not crazy, Ellie. She betrayed you. That's not drama, that's trauma. I swallowed hard. No one had said that out loud before. You're a better actress than I thought, he added. How so? The way you smiled all through dinner. Like you weren't. Barely holding it together. I blinked fast. Looked away. Then back at him. His eyes were locked on mine, warm. Sure. Quiet in that dangerous way. Leo. Yeah. This whole fake fiancé thing. You're weirdly good at it. He leaned in just a little. Close enough that I could smell his cologne. Close enough that the blanket didn't feel like the only thing keeping us warm. Maybe I'm not faking, he whispered. My heart stopped. I froze. And then, a light flicked on in the kitchen behind us. Ava, watching. Leo pulled back fast. I stood, my pulse a mess. We should go inside. Yeah, he said, clearing his throat. Long day. As we walked away, I didn't look back, but I felt her eyes on me. Burning. Jealous. Afraid. Good, let her be. The slip-up. Breakfast was brutal. Not because of the food, Mom had outdone herself again with cinnamon rolls, frittatas, and the kind of fruit platter that looked like it belonged in a lifestyle magazine. No, breakfast was brutal because he was there. Ethan, sitting next to Ava like he didn't completely ruin my life, laughing like we weren't pretending everything was fine. Leo caught me staring and casually slid his hand onto my thigh under the table. A light squeeze. A silent focus on me, not them. So Leo, Dad said between sips of coffee, what do you do again? Leo didn't hesitate. I run a marketing agency, mostly digital strategy for startups. I like helping people build things from scratch. I almost choked on my mimosa. That was real. He hadn't made that part up. I'd Googled him. Sure, but hearing it out loud, in that confident tone, it hit different. That's impressive, Ava said, too quickly. Ellie's always dated guys with potential, not results. My jaw tightened. Leo didn't miss a beat. Well, Ellie deserves results. She knows what she wants. That's rare. The table went quiet again. Mom beamed. Dad nodded approvingly. Ava looked like she wanted to flip the table. Ethan just smirked. And then it happened. So how do you two meet again? Ethan asked, swirling his orange juice with a spoon. Leo opened his mouth, and I jumped in too fast. We met through our friends. At a party. Leo paused. Just a second. Too long. I thought it was a bookstore. Ava said slowly, brows raised. Crap. Right. But then, we ran into each other again. At a party. And that's when we really connected. Leo tried to smooth it over. She forgot the first time we met. Can you believe that? I was distracted. I added quickly. By the books. And his arms. A few laughs. The tension melted. Mostly. But Ava was watching me. Like a hawk. And Ethan? Ethan looked interested now. Great. After breakfast, Leo pulled me aside by the staircase. We need to tighten our story, he said quietly. I panicked, I whispered. It was her tone. She always does that, asks questions that sound harmless, but aren't. Leo touched my chin gently, turning my face to him. Hey, we're okay. But from now on stick to the script. Or tell me if we're changing it. I nodded, swallowing my nerves. Thanks for covering. I told you, he said, voice low. I've got you. He meant it. And that scared me more than anything. The realization. We snuck away that afternoon. Just the two of us, out by the lake behind my parents' house. The one where I used to come and scream into the trees during my dramatic teenage phases, usually because of Ava, occasionally because of boys. Now I was back here, hiding from both. Leo skipped a stone across the water like it wasn't even a challenge. His jacket hung loose over a Henley. Hair tousled just right. If I hadn't hired him, I probably would have fallen for him on sight. Scratch that. I was falling. You ever think about what would have happened if none of this was fake? He asked quietly. I blinked. What do you mean? He turned to me. The wind caught his hair just enough to make him look heartbreakingly soft. Like, if we met under normal circumstances. No fake ring. No exes. No drama. We probably wouldn't have spoken. I joked, trying to lighten the mood. I mean, you're too confident. I would have assumed you were a walking red flag. And I would have thought you were too intimidating, he said with a small smile. Too smart, too guarded. We both laughed, but it didn't feel fake. It felt honest. Heavy. I've been thinking about last night, he added after a beat. My breath hitched. The porch. The almost kiss. The way he said he wasn't faking. You meant it, didn't you? I asked, voice barely above a whisper. When you said maybe you weren't pretending. Leo didn't answer right away. Instead, he stepped closer. Slow. Deliberate. I don't know when it changed, he said. But somewhere between the car ride, your sarcasm, and watching you face your sister like a damn warrior, I stopped pretending. My heart flipped. Leo. He reached up, brushing a strand of hair from my cheek. His fingers lingered, gentle but sure. We don't have to kiss, he said, eyes locked on mine. But I want to, so bad. And just as I leaned in, my phone buzzed. Ava. Come inside, emergency. Of course. I sighed, pulling back with an apologetic smile. Rain check? Leo chuckled. Definitely. But as we walked back to the house side by side his, hand brushing mine, I knew something had changed. This wasn't a game anymore, and I didn't want it to end. The breakdown. When we got back, the house was a war zone. Ava was pacing the living room with tears threatening her perfect makeup. Ethan stood by the fireplace, red-faced and furious. Mum and Dad hovered awkwardly like two terrified extras in a reality show. What happened? I asked, glancing between them. Ava pointed at Ethan. He went through my phone. Ethan scoffed. Because I knew something was off. And surprise, you've been texting your ex. I blinked. Which one? I muttered. Leo squeezed my hand. Excuse me? Ava snapped. You heard me. You juggle men like a Cirque du Soleil act and I'm the dramatic one. This has nothing to do with you, Ellie. Doesn't it? I stepped forward. You're here with my ex. Playing princess in a house you know you don't belong in. Wow, Ethan cut in. So we're just rewriting history now. Oh, sweetie, I said, voice shaking. You erased me the second you showed up with her like I was disposable. Ava's lips trembled. For a second, I thought she might cry. Instead, maybe I didn't steal him, she snapped. Maybe you just weren't enough to keep him. The room went silent. Even Leo tensed beside me. That was it. You know what? I said slowly. You can keep him. You deserve each other. I turned to Ethan. You hurt me, humiliated me, and I stayed quiet for the sake of family peace. But now, I'm done protecting anyone's ego but mine. Leo stepped forward, voice calm but steel-edged. Ellie doesn't need either of you to feel whole. But I'll be damned if you keep trying to break her. Ethan rolled his eyes. Oh, the fake fiancé speaks. Cute. Leo didn't blink. You can question everything about us, but you don't get to question what she's worth. My throat tightened. Ava opened her mouth to retort, but Mom stepped in finally. Enough, she said firmly. This ends now. Everyone cool off before breakfast becomes a boxing match. Everyone scattered after that. I found myself in my old bedroom, breathing hard, hands trembling. Leo followed, closing the door behind him. You okay? No, I whispered, but I feel lighter. He walked up to me. No performance. No act. Just Leo. You were incredible. I was unhinged. You were honest. And then, without asking, without hesitating, he pulled me into a hug. A real one. The kind that holds you together when you feel like falling apart. I let myself sink into it. And for once, I didn't feel alone. And that's another verse from Blessing's Storyverse. If this story hit you in the feels, leave a like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Because trust me, the next plot twist is even crazier. Until next time, keep living like the main character. Bye.